What's up, guys? Welcome to The Line Change, your number one source, spot, podcast for all things Vancouver Canucks, bringing you game recaps, trade news, signings, injury updates, reports, you name it. We have it for you right here on The Line Change. Now, in today's video, we're going to be going over another Canucks trade target. Now, in our previous video, we mentioned Jared McCann, which you can find up here. And in this one, we're going to be going over a completely different player, one that we haven't spoken about on this channel. Although technically, we talked a little bit about him in our Jared McCann video, just to let you guys know what was coming and what our next trade target video was going to be. So let's dive right into it. This video, we're going to be talking about Pittsburgh Penguin center Rickard Rakell. Now, I mentioned in that previous video that one of the reasons why the Canucks could be targeting him is he's a Swede. And as I mentioned in that previous video, the Canucks love their Swedes. I mean, you've got Elias Pettersson, Marcus Pettersson, Nils Höglander, Linus Karlsson, and that's just the main ones. I could be missing one or two, but those are the ones that I named off the top of my head. They're all Swedes. And then, of course, you have Daniel and Henrik, two Canuck legends, Hall of Famers on the coaching staff. So that's a lot of Swedes. And then on top of that, our general manager, Patrick Alvin, is a Swede. So Lekaramäki, another Swede. So that's like, what, 8, 10 people within the Canucks organization that are Swedish? And then you go on out and you potentially trade for Rickard Rakell, and you have another Swede. So this is one key point as to why I think he is a trade target for the Vancouver Canucks. And that's just one. The other one, he plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Canucks, as of late, have liked the Penguins as a trade partner because of the history of said general manager, Patrick Alvin, and our president of hockey operations, Jimmy Rutherford. They both worked for the Penguins organization prior to coming over to the Canucks. And not to mention, we mentioned Marcus Pettersson. We got him from the Penguins. We got Drew O'Connor from the Penguins. And then if you remember last year, we traded Anthony Beauvillier to the Penguins. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what we got for Beauvillier. Anyway, moving forward onto the topic at hand, Rickard Rakell is a 31-year-old center, right-handed shot. He is also a winger as well, so he can play on the wing. His current cap hit $5 million, and he is in year 3 of a 6-year deal. So if the Canucks were to target Rakell, he is exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for a forward with term. He has 3 years left on his contract. And yes, when that contract expires, he will be 35 years old. So he's a little older than what they're looking for. You know, they mentioned they're looking for somebody a little young, or at least a couple years younger, but Rakell fits the bill when it comes to the Canucks. And if we were to trade for him, we'd have him for 3 years. And then once his contract is expired, or in his final year of his contract, we could always move that contract out, trade him for assets or draft picks, you name it. But he could at least be a good scoring center / winger for the next couple years, especially as we mentioned in the McCann video, if we lose Besser. So Rickard Rakell, he was drafted in the first round with the 30th overall pick in 2011 by the Anaheim Ducks. This season, Rickard Rakell has 29 goals, 24 assists, and 53 points in 63 games. So he's done really well. He's got a lot of points. So far this season, he's almost at 30 goals. So that is probably what the Canucks are really looking at, his production and the fact that he is almost at 30 goals, which tells you the guy can score. And if he were to be traded to the Canucks, he would immediately be one of their top point producers at the time with his 53 points. I believe Quinn Hughes is at just about 60 or a little bit more than that. He's at like maybe 59, if I recall. Actually, you know what? Let's check that. I have Puckpedia up here right now, so why not? So excuse this for one quick sec and ignore that the white, it's from my browser. All right, Quinn Hughes. Yeah. So Quinn Hughes is at 60 points, 14 goals, 46 assists in 50 games played. Rakell would immediately be the second top scorer on the Canucks if he were to be traded to Vancouver, which is a real big plus. And you could easily slot Rakell into that second line center role, or as I mentioned in our previous video, you could always have him play the wing with a guy like Chytil. And they're most likely, depending on where you want to Drew O'Connor, if you were to put O'Connor with Rakell, there's that chemistry because of them both being former teammates. O'Connor is more of a third line winger or even a fourth line winger at the moment. I mean, I suppose it's worth a shot, to see if there's that chemistry because of them being former teammates. But Rickard Rakell, we talked about how much points he has so far this season. He does have an 8-team trade list with his contract throughout his entire contract thus far. He's had a modified trade clause. So if he were to get traded to the Canucks, he would retain that modified no trade clause for the remainder of his contract. Moving down, look at his stats, starting with the last couple of years. Actually, let's look at his time with Anaheim, actually, just a little bit. So his rookie season, he only played in 4 games, didn't get any points. His second season, which was 2013-2014, he played 18 games and he only had 4 points. So he had 4 assists. The following season, 2014-2015, he had 9 goals, 22 assists, and 31 points in 71 games. 2015-2016, he had 20 goals, 23 assists, 43 points in 72 games. And 2016-2017, he had 33 goals, 18 assists, 51 points in 71 games. So that year was a career high at the time for him. Fast forward a year later, he had 34 goals, 35 assists, 69 points in 77 games. So a year later, he eclipsed that. And then moving forward to 2018-2019, he had 18 goals, 25 assists, 43 points in 69 games. So he had a bit of a down dip in that following season. And then in 2019-2020, he had 15 goals, 27 assists, 42 points in 65 games. So again, he had a bit of a dip, especially in goals. Starting from after he had that great season, career best 34 goal season, his goal production did dip a little bit. And then in the COVID shortened season, 2020-2021, he had 9 goals, 19 assists, 28 points in 52 games. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt there as it was a short season. And he only played in 52 of those games. And then his final season in Anaheim, 2021-2022, he had 16 goals, 12 assists, 28 points in 51 games. And then during that season, he was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And with the Penguins, for the remainder of that season, he had 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points in 19 games played. And then he signed that new contract, that current contract that he is in now. He signed it on July 11th, 2022. And then his first season with Pittsburgh, he had 28 goals, 32 assists, 60 points in 82 games. So he played a full season for the first time in his career a couple of seasons ago. And then last season, he had 15 goals, 22 assists, 37 points in 70 games played. So again, he had a bit of a dip in point production, but he also missed 12 games. And then we mentioned this year, his point totals, 53 points in 63 games so far. So he's had a nice rebound year so far. But yeah, so those are his stats. I really think he is a good fit for this Canucks team. Yes, as I mentioned before, he is a little bit on the older side. Being 31, he's essentially the same age as JT Miller, but he's got 3 years left on his contract. The Canucks are looking for somebody with term, as I mentioned, and this is exactly what he has. He has term, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are in essentially full-on rebuild mode, and they're looking to sell at the deadline. And I believe, although I haven't seen any articles, basically confirming that Rakell's on the market, but you would assume Rakell could be on the trade block and somebody that Pittsburgh is looking to sell at the deadline. So I think the Canucks should really look into him. And obviously with that familiarity between Rutherford, Alvin, Penguins, them having already made a trade this season, like a matter of weeks ago, I guess you could say a little over a month ago, actually. So there's already that relationship there. They could easily do it again. Keep in mind, last season, right around this time, the Canucks made not one, but 2 trades with the Calgary Flames. They acquired Zadorov in, November? And then they acquired Lindholm a couple months later. So it's not like the Canucks have not made multiple trades with a single team in a season. They did it last year, and I think it could happen again. And I think Rakell is, as I mentioned, a really good fit. He's got some speed to his game, which is something that the Canucks need, something they lack, something that they gained with Hedel and O'Connor. You gain even more by getting Rakell. I'd also, not going to lie, I would like to see how Rakell would fare on the first line with EP40. And maybe there could be some instant chemistry between the two. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this trade is a good idea? Do you think this trade is a good trade between the Canucks and the Penguins? Do you like the idea of Rickard Rakell becoming a Vancouver Canuck? Now, we haven't discussed, what would be going the other way. Yes, you could dangle Besser. Obviously, he's a big trade piece and someone that you would have to consider moving. And it would obviously, you'd be able to dangle Besser in front of a Penguins team that is looking to rebuild, as I mentioned. I also think that you could dangle someone like Suter as well. Maybe a couple of draft picks could get Rakell. Maybe a prospect that's not Lekaramaki or Tom Melander. Maybe a low-end prospect or something a little higher than that could get this deal done. Again, let me know what you guys think. If there's any names that I may have missed out when it comes to prospects or trade pieces, there's also Carson Soucy, who is a trade piece. But Soucy also has a no trade clause. So you'd have to consider that. But yeah, once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and if you are enjoying these Canuck trade target videos, which I'm going to continue to do them leading up to the deadline, and then as well as on deadline day, I'm going to be doing my utmost best to give you guys all the latest news for the Canucks that day. I'm going to be putting up videos for the majority of that day in regards to the deadline and, any player that the Canucks may acquire at the deadline. We'll cover it right here on the line change. Also, that night, the Canucks play the Minnesota Wild, and we will be doing a game recap for that game. However, we're going to do something a little bit different. And I was going to do this for the game against, Seattle? But I was a little too late. So I decided, let's wait until the game against Minnesota. We're at home. We're rocking the skate jersey. So in Friday's recap video, we're going to go live. So we're going to have a live game recap on Friday night for the Canucks versus Minnesota. I hope you guys tune into that. I'm really looking forward to doing a live video for the first time. I will likely go live just shortly after the game ends. And for those who are going to be tuning in, I look forward to seeing you then. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you're not subscribed to the line change and would like to continue to see more content, maybe even give ideas on what I should cover when it comes to the Canucks. Is there anything that you would like to see on this channel? Feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know. I do have things planned for this channel, like in the distant future. I would like to eventually have guests on the show. I would like to eventually even, dive more into the analytics when it comes to this hockey team. Yeah, a lot of things planned for this channel. Share this video. As I mentioned, subscribe, smash that subscribe button. You really help out the channel. And I'll see you guys later this week.